Me to say absolutely no comment.
Okay, so based on what?
Hi guys, welcome back to Jed's Corner. Today we have for you the day 6 of the Big Brother Naija 2019 pepperdem reunion show. Don't forget to watch till the end of this because we have clips today. It was another really emotional day. Once again, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, and turn on your notifications for Jed's Corner. Now let's get into today. It's your host Danny once again. Today was really all about gossip, apropos, sharing rumors, just gossiping really. And we had in the studio with us Mercy, Tacha, Thelma, Sheyi, Ike, and Omashola. First things, Ebika just asked everyone, what do you think about gossiping? I'd like to hear your comments. Do you think gossiping is bad, or do you think it's something... Do you think it's just a random conversation, or you must say everything in someone's face? And we could also hear some of the things that some of the housemates thought. Tasha in particular thinks that there's a difference between gossiping and stating facts. So when you're stating facts, it's not really gossiping. For Diane, gossip is gossip. Everyone gossips. There's nothing so crazy about it. Ebuka also agrees with Diane that everyone gossips and it's not necessarily so bad so long as you don't take it to the extremes in terms of insulting someone or speaking ill about someone. And basically, we also asked Jackie, who was also in the studio, what she thinks about gossiping. And Jackie, very much like yesterday, said she doesn't gossip and she just doesn't gossip. She denied gossiping. But Ebuka countered her claims and said he thinks he has a clip for her. And truly, he did have one for her. He showed where she invited Kathy in the house to come and gossip with her. In particular, it was a reference to what we said yesterday. She was gossiping about body enhancements once again for Mercy. And it was, actually, the video was really good on Kathy's part. She wasn't really enabling, but saying, no, it's what her mama gave her. But Jackie thinks it was what the doctor gave her. I don't know what you guys think, but Mercy says her body is real and we don't need to argue about it. That's all. And the second part about the gossip, we got into a little bit of Ike sort of gossiping with Tasha. There was a clip where Ike was talking to Tasha about Mercy's character. He was kind of saying she was emotionally up and down. Very similar to what he said about Ella yesterday. And also described that using bipolar. Sometimes she's very, high on emotions with him. And the next time she's just like being more aggressive and he doesn't really understand it. And luckily we had Tasha and Mercy in the house as well. And Mercy could really address this. And for her, she doesn't have a problem with Ike and Tasha being friends. But she just doesn't think it's respectful to her. Not necessarily that there's something wrong with both of them having a conversation about her or anything, but she feels he can directly speak to her about anything, and most especially when you have to take it to social media. On this, I can understand Mercy's point. When Ike goes to hang out with Tasha on social media, you have to understand that Mercy and Tasha are like enemies, at least for their fans. So when you leave Mercy to go hang out with Tasha, you're essentially, just stoking the fire. You're pushing her fans to even be angry at Ike as well. And so Mercy feels it's just disrespectful. You don't need to go on social media and do things that that will rub off on her in the wrong way and make it look like there's trouble in paradise with Mercy and he's going over to Tasha's side. So for me, I understand. I don't think Ike should stop his friendship with anyone for Mercy, but we have to understand they are now public figures somehow, and that changes the dynamics of everything. And to this, Mercy thinks some of it was just out of spite. It wasn't always random friendship hanging out. He thinks some of it was out of spite. So basically when Ike isn't talking to her about what the problem is, he goes on social media and starts to, use the indirect way and hang out with Tasha. And thankfully again, Tasha was in the house. To Tasha had no comment on this when asked by Ebuka what she thinks about this. Ebuka tried to get more out from Tasha, but Tasha stuck to her grounds. No comment. She didn't accept or reject the claims that she was being disrespectful to Mercy in any sort of way by keeping her friendship with Ike. And on Ike's part, Ike thinks there was nothing to it. Ike doesn't feel that there was any particular disrespectful thing. It was just more of sometimes he has to pick, and he's not always going to pick. Sometimes he has to pick being able to hang out with his friend and thinking about all what the Messi fans are thinking. And sometimes he just wants to hang out with his friend. So it's not that serious. There was nothing to it. So tell me, guys, in the comments, what do you think? Do you think Ike should be a bit more reserved with the way he hangs out with Tasha simply because of the fan beef between Tasha and Messi? Or do you think it's perfectly fine for him to go around posting videos and hanging out with Tasha knowing it will rub off wrongly on Messi and her fans? And also, do you think gossip is bad? And for the last part of the show, it was the longest, but also it was another emotional part today. It started off really with a clip of Messi speaking about Shay to the other housemates whilst still in the house, and she spoke about how Shay had in particular insulted Thelma, saying she couldn't amount to anything, and even bringing in that her brother, who is dead, died with all her good luck or any chance of her achieving anything. She's not going to be anything. And we had Thelma and Shay on this, and Thelma spoke first, and she said that it was something that really, really hurt her. Firstly, because Shay didn't say any of those really hurtful things to her face, but he said it behind her back, which means it wasn't just anger. He maybe was things he had thought about for a long time, but she's found it somewhere in her heart to forgive him. And even when she met all of them when they came out of the house, she first hugged Shay. She's really tried to move on from it. She's forgiven him, knowing that we're all human and people make mistakes. And she also got a chance to tell the story, at least from her own perspective. And this was Thelma's perspective. Shay was being punished he was doing punishment for the house from Big Brother. He was picking rice, and Big Brother was playing music to distract them. And for her, she was just playing Ludo with Messi, and Shay was already irritable due to the punishment he was going through, and they started looking for the die at some point. And she pointed out like, oh look, this is the die, we found it. And Shay basically turned up and thought she was also trying to add to his distraction, and he wasn't really having any of it, honestly. But she was just pointing out that, look, this is the die that we're looking for. And Shay kind of became authoritative and was speaking in a very authoritative tone at her. So he was kind of raising his voice at her, and she was just like wondering like, what's wrong with this one. And at this point, actually, Messi interjected Thelma, and Messi said that despite what happened on that day, she was the one that told all the housemates about what Shay said. So she feels she had to add something to this. She believes that on that day, it was on a Saturday night, and Shay was intoxicated. So Shay was already irritable while serving that punishment. On top of that, he was already drunk. So when he said some of those things, it wasn't out of his heart. It was just things that, given the current situation, came out of him. And Shay didn't remember. She was the one that actually reminded Shay of the things he said. And in particular, no one would have heard about this if she didn't have a quarrel with Shay and then expose what he said to the rest of the housemates. So you see how it all happened. This was a sequence of people getting angry at each other and saying hurtful things, starting with Shay saying hurtful things to Thelma first, then Messi fighting with Shay and bringing out things that shouldn't have come out. So you can see how it was all about people gossiping and talking behind people's backs, essentially. Thelma feels, despite all Messi said, Shay had time to have cooled off, but those were just things he had deep down in his heart and wanted to say. And there was Shay to add what he could add to all of this. To Shay, Thelma was telling the story purely from her own perspective, and it wasn't a very accurate reflection of what exactly happened on that day. Shay was already angry, according to him, having to serve a punishment, something he's doing for the whole house, picking rice. I feel for him. If you're picking rice, I don't know, I would probably be angry if you do anything at that point to annoy me. And to him, Big Brother is already doing enough to distract him. So why is Thelma not just trying to help him? You know, she's not helping pick the rights, but please don't come and be speaking or making noise there. Something you know that is going to add more to him. He just felt that Thelma wasn't really putting herself in his shoe. Maybe it was hard for Thelma. It's hard for anyone to put themselves in anyone's shoes, really. But he felt Thelma wasn't respecting what he was going through, and she was just being careless, and that's why he spoke to her in that way. Despite her claims of having just been unfortunate to have spoken and he thought she was doing it against him, he still wasn't having any of it. To him, she was just being distracting to him, and that caused him to get really angry. And he said anger is basically his weakness. He's not setting up the things he would do when he's angry, and he tends to possibly go overboard. So in an act of revenge, once again, from being angry at someone, Sheyi went and farted close to Thelma while she was serving the punishment, which, I will even lie to you, that's just annoying. That's just disgusting. Why will you fart close to me? Because we are like, honestly, I would have been so angry. And Thelma did get angry, but she maybe not fully controlled it, but she hit him, not so hard, but she hit him out of annoyance anyways at what he did. And for Sheyi, he said those things at a later time because deep down, he still was really angry about the whole thing. It just really hurt him. And to Thelma, she felt that it just wasn't enough. She was still really uneasy. You could tell on the show about it. She wasn't convinced that she wasn't convinced that the way everything went. And Ebuka stepped in to speak about apologies for both of them. And apparently, Sheyi has apologized to Thelma. And according to Thelma, it just wasn't a real apology. He was at some press conference or somewhere and they asked him about it and he made an apology. But it wasn't anything that she accepted, and she would still like an apology. Sheyi was a bit defiant at first, but he tried once again to apologize to Thelma for any insults to her and her family, and did actually state that he apologized to Thelma properly, but maybe she just refused to hear it in that way. And honestly, as it went on past this point, we really got to see why it was a big deal for Thelma and why she needed that apology. Sheyi had basically said that Thelma will not go forward in life, and basically her brother's death, along with his death, every success, every good thing that should come to her has already died with her brother. And it seems like just a hurtful insult, but truly Thelma's brother was murdered a couple of days to his wedding. So it's something very traumatic and emotional for the entire family, because the murderer is still in court. Naija and its dramas, the murderer is still in court. And there's been no conviction on it. This is something that her mother is still trying to deal with. She's still trying to deal with. And if Sheyi probably had mentioned her grandparents or anyone else that had been dead, maybe it wouldn't hurt so much. But Sheyi himself didn't know how much hurt he left on with her family. Not just her. Her mother was very devastated by those insults and all those things. And at this point, you could really see that within the housemates in the studio, they really got that, yes, someone really went over the line. It was even beyond what they all knew. And Thelma actually did cry a little, although she did her very best to hold herself back. But honestly, guys, it was kind of emotional for me too, I won't lie. I didn't know that part of the story and I felt really sorry. Sheyi once again apologized and even suggested that they get a hug together, which I think was the very right thing to do, as it was a lot. And that's pretty much what happened today. It was just about gossips and rumor mongers. But I'm really happy that at the end of this, they could find some middle ground and, get past it and apologize to one another. It was something very hurtful given the circumstances, and no one should have to say that to anyone, whether you're angry or not. So Sheyi definitely went overboard a couple of times in the house, and at least now he's apologized. So guys, that was it for today. Remember to comment, share your thoughts on today's episodes. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications for Jed's Corner. Once again, it's your host Danny. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.